Greetings and salutations to everybody. I'm Schwahn.
And I'm Vongod.
And this is Road to Locals, another Grand Archive podcast. We are headed to Locals. It is Tuesday. I was like, where's my phone at? It's right fucking there. It is
the 16th.
The Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. And so we have what's left now? SEA Nationals?
Yeah.
Because OSH finished up, EU and NA finished up. So we have OSH Nationals, SEA Nationals. And then we have Worlds in 2 months. And leading up to that, we will have Anime Expo next month in July, which will see the release of Supporter Pack 4. That has been fully spoiled.
So hype.
Now,
Gonna be sick.
what are your initial thoughts? I guess you've already shared them, which is so hype.
After every uncommon, basically, it feels like. I don't care about almost any of the super rares, but if you give me a couple of the uncommons, I'm going to be ecstatic.
The only super rare that I'm like, have any marginal interest in is Three of Hearts, just because I know you're not a big fan of Three of Hearts.
No, I'm not.
But I do like Three of Hearts. I think Three of Hearts is a pretty good card. I also I have this piece of paper here for us to talk about because I wrote down a whole bunch of prices of things.
Sure.
Because there's not a whole lot to talk about meta or competition-wise, but I think there is things to talk about market-wise. And Three of Hearts is one of the things that's written on here. But I'm right there with you. Uncommons and rares all day long. I need all of them practically. I don't need all of them. I just want
I want all of them. I've been... I won't even say slowly. I've been quickly trying to foil out a Ganbu deck and saw what they were showing in there, and I was like, well, I need all of that.
half that.
I need the gentle respites that are going to also be set up as promos for the Ascent. So I got a few things I need.
They showed off Fractal Sparks, and I was like, hey, I need this. It's got Dao-Chan on it.
You went, hey, my money, it's already gone.
It's like a rare, so I'm not super concerned.
No.
And it's not Dream Fairy. It's not Cosmic Bolt, right? So I'm like, I'll probably be able to get bills of that for
What's going to happen for you is that somebody's going to pull it, and they're going to message you directly saying, oh, you're one of 3 people who wants this. That's exactly what's happening.
Vanitas plays it, right?
Sure, so then they'll still message one of us so that Nathan can get it.
Yeah.
Same story.
Pretty much.
Gandalf.
So I'm looking forward to SP4. I do, this is something I'm torn on, which is that they showed off all of the CSRs for it, and one of the CSRs for Supporter Pack 4 is friggin' Pong Tong. Or Pang Tong. I apologize, I don't know how that is pronounced, and I did not get a chance to call up Mark so you could tell me how to pronounce it. Mark from Solar Games, shout out, great guy. If you want to know how to pronounce all of the weird-ass names, well, I say weird-ass. If you want, that's insensitive, and I apologize. If you want to know how to pronounce all of the historical Chinese names from Mortal Ambition, from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Mark with Solar Games has a full pronunciation guide on all of those names. That's how I know that it is Cao Cao and not Cow Cow.
That is so nice of him.
Well, it's part of his heritage and stuff, and it's something that's important to him.
Yeah, but he still took the time to do that for other people instead of just saying we're a bunch of ignorant folks, which he easily could have done.
Well, and I realized I was like, they did, because I used to play some of the old Romance of the Three Kingdom games. One of my favorite games of the PlayStation 2 era is Kessen, which is hey, we have Dynasty Warriors at home. I wish I was even marginally joking. But there's also Dynasty Warriors, which a lot of people know Lu Bu from Dynasty Warriors, because he's normally a super boss and stuff like that, right?
Dirk is what he is in those games.
But it's the main trio that you see in those more often than not. I'd never heard the name. Dao-Chan was a real person. Kong Ming was a real person. And obviously they weren't beautiful anime women. They were mostly men. And so, I didn't know who those people were. They don't come up in those stories or anything like that. And thankfully those names are pretty easy to understand. But our English asses, Cow Cow's probably the worst in that it's not Cow Cow. It is Cao Cao. But whatever. Again, thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
But I don't believe I got a pronunciation for Pang Tong, but Pang Tong is one of the worst friggin' cards in Grand Archive. Oh my god.
Well, you know that they have to have some some stinkers in there, right? That's how that works?
So, you can have stinkers that aren't useless, right? One of the early ones they revealed was Mad Tea Party.
Yeah.
Mad Tea Party, the art's cool because it's got our Pantheon champions on it. It's got Xander, Kong Ming, Aerithana, and Lorraine sitting around having a feast, right? And while Mad Tea Party will not be an exciting CSR to pull, because it's not that great of a card. Domain, recover 1 when allies enter. Like, we've seen some people try to use it, but it's not insane. It's not Calming Breeze, right? With frigging Gwendolyn on it, where it's like, this is hyper playable and something that everyone wants to hit.
Yep.
You could pull Mad Tea Party and not be upset. Peng Tong is trash.
Yeah.
Is utterly unplayable.
No. With all the respect to the players in the world now, if it's utterly trash, you call it Pantheon playable.
Oh, no, she's not. She's not even Pantheon playable. Like, that's the problem. Like, she's the fucking worst. Literally one of the worst allies in the game. It is so unbelievably bad.
Yeah, but they made up for it by making an uncommon, incredibly, like, how would I word it? Alluring, frog.
Oh,
Or Eighth Throne Keeper Bullfrog.
yeah, don't worry. We all down bad for Throne Keeper Bullfrog.
Oh man, it's such a good card. Also, you know,
I don't understand, like, his... like, even when I read Peng Tong the first time, let alone before she did CSR, I was like, this card's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this card is just really bad. For those... I don't know if I will remember when I'm editing this to put it up on the screen where Nathan's head normally is. But I believe she's like a 3-drop 2/2-ish in Luxem that says when you balance. So already one of the most clunk-ass mechanics in the game. I really don't like balance, obviously. But already, so balance, only when you have balance does you have any other effect. So if your cards in hand and memory are equal, if you would take damage, reduce that damage to 3. So first off, you got to be taking hits higher than 3 for her to do anything and be balanced. And even then, you're still getting your shit rocked for 3. So the only times this is going to matter at all is like Arcane Blast, a juiced up Water Diana, Fireball. That's it.
Yeah, because like
No,
still
two. You're gonna take all of it. I guess if they got a lot of fractals out, you might be turning their refracting missile from like 6 down to 3, but you're still eating 3, which is gonna suck.
Yeah, because 3 is just kind of the standard ouch. Like that's usually the number where things start to get scary, is when something can swing for 3.
Yeah, too many instances of 3 starting, like Cheshire Cat hitting you for 3 every turn sucks.
Aeson Protector and Frostworn Paladin, like, you can look in the sideboards of plenty of decks and you'll see, oh hey, that is sideboard text specifically because Frostworn Paladin exists.
I can only imagine that her text used to say reduce the damage by 3, and they were like, it's too strong. That's a lot of damage reduction. Sure, we put the balance condition on it, but man, it just feels impossible to get through. I'm just guessing. I have no basis for this.
Blanche tends to reduce more than 3.
Sure. Well, it's non-combat damage. Blanche only does non-combat. Changelonger does all damage.
Okay, but I mean, then you just kill the Peng Tong.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
You just punch them instead, even if that was...
She's so bad. When I saw that she was a CSR, I was like, ew.
So then what is your chase card out of the set?
The fractals.
It's just fractals,
Probably. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love opening CSRs. We even get any supporter pack 4, if I open up a Peng Tong CSR, the art will still be sick. The foiling and texturing treatment on Grand Archive CSRs is still incredible. So I'll be like, this is cool. Too bad it's worth $50. She might hold a little bit of value just because boobs. Like, the booba tax is real.
I think there's also just that it's the equivalent of what would be considered like an extended art or something like that. Like, it's an extended art foil or like a... Because I guarantee you that's going to be a factor for collectors. Like, whether or not that's you is obviously different. But, like, I suspect that somebody's going to go, I want to complete my set of, like, SP for CSRs when possible. It's not going to be as much...
Okay, so here's the thing. You're right. But there's 1, maybe 2 people that you were describing. So after they get their 8 CSRP, like, total between them Peng Tongs, what are you going to do with the other 160?
Take all of them and trade them for a Genbu CSR.
Oh, okay, obviously. She's taking that trade. I'll try. Like, she's going to be, like, even with boob attack, she's going to be like $125 max.
Yeah.
Because she's just completely and utterly unplayable garbage.
On that note, though, since you're talking about pricing,
Sure.
what you got there?
All right, so here I got a couple of stats here, as well as like there is a existing problem. We've talked about it before when it comes to the price of particular staples and playables within Grand Archive, and I think this problem is getting worse rather than getting better. And so I'm just gonna I have this split up by rarity. So we'll start at the top end. We'll start at the ultra rares, right? So we've talked about it already a lot. Angelic Channeling, definitely the price of it has settled down. There's a lot of them listed on TCG Player. There's about 17 different store listings with different quantities in each version A and B. It is settled at a very comfortable $90. And for what is a card that is going into every level 3 deck, God, that's a shitload. Cheshire Cat, solid 90. She has not changed at all. Thankfully, a little bit is alleviated by the looking glass getting cheaper thanks to the RDO printing. You can get RDO looking glasses for like $30. That still doesn't change. You're going to have to spend $100 for Cheshire Cats. $400, you're going to have to spend $400 for a set of Cheshire Cats. $300 if you're lucky, because sometimes if people sell a playset, they'll sell them for $75 each. But that's still a hefty investment. Carter, despite still not being played in much, is $60. And that's going to be a trending thing for some of the cards on this list of they're not heavily played cards. Some of them, like we'll jump down to a super rare, Liminal Guide is $85 a copy, which is insane.
It is $5 cheaper than an ultra rare that you need a 4 of.
It's ridiculous, but he goes into so many things is the reason why.
Well, yeah, because even if you're not an advanced element like you would need for some of the other
and
ones.
like you don't need that for Cheshire Cat either, right? And like backup charger dropping down to rare. Backup chargers are $65 a pop, which is insanity.
Really?
65 for non-foils.
Holy
60 fucking 5. Sure, I get this. You only need one. It still sucks, okay? It's still really trash.
Yeah.
Is that better than needing a playset of $85 liminal guides? Yes, that is better, but it doesn't make me feel any better about it.
No.
And, like, God.
I wonder if that'll drop if water starts to fall off again, because it feels like, in most cases, that's a water card now.
Well, there is a problem that Grand Archive has, and that Grand Archive has a exceptional, and I don't mean that in a positive way, an exceptional price memory.
Mm-hmm.
If one copy of a card sells at a increased price, that very often, unless somebody intentionally tries to disrupt it, becomes the price. So like, we can take an example of Censor of Wrestle Piece. Censor of Wrestle Piece was $5 for friggin' ever. Sometimes it floated up to like $6, $7 range, right? Yeah. Somebody bought all of the Censor of Wrestle Pieces. Like there was a buyout of them. One sold for $20. It is just now $25, just period. Because somebody bought them out. We got one successful sale listed and like saved on the market at $20 plus, and now it's just a $25 card. And again, sure, you only need one, but you know what you don't only need one of? Fluffy Shopkeep. Fluffy Shopkeep has been $5 since Distorted Reflections released. And then somebody bought out all of the Fluffy Shopkeeps, managed to get a sale of one at $20, and they're all $20 now. Like,
joy.
And there are cards that are just actively unplayed. Academy Guide is played in nothing at all. It is played in meme-ass Allen decks and the smallest sub-faction of the most unplayed Serious Champion, which is Tenoris. An important part of Serious Champion, because there are some champions that we don't talk about. But Tenoris people still try to do stuff. And it's still $20. Successfully selling at $20. And I'm like, for what? It's not in anything at all. Like,
so that one, I will actually give the same answer I just did, which is Pantheon. Pantheon is okay with buying one for their decks because it allows you to have another guide for leveling up. That is a legitimate reason that people are picking those up.
I don't know if I buy that though.
I mean, people
literally, right?
I mean, it was at the point where main deck TCG was actually talking about specifically Academy Guide in Pantheon decks.
Okay.
So
maybe.
it's to the point where it was even mentioned by a large member of this community as something to do. So it's something that is notable, and I don't think that makes it okay to have to pay $25. I do not, or $20, but it's still a reason that I think people have been paying as much as they
It
have.
was VO63, I think.
OV 39.
Oh, man. Way up. I was in the right ballpark.
you got the letters sort of right.
No, I got all of that correct, okay?
39, 63, just because you flipped the 9 upside.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was all correct, just in no way the right order whatsoever at all.
It's just an anagram. One flipped upside down. That's fine.
Hi, will you be using the mobile app today?
Yes.
Okay, what's your code?
OV39.
Second one, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna read off some other ones real quick. Because we have 3 visits despite A&B Alter coming out is up to $60 from the $30 it was before A&B Alter came out.
Sure.
Palvor Sword is sold out entirely. You
Yep.
cannot get one.
Yep.
Auspicious Manifestation is up to $75 now.
That one's a surprise to me.
I think it's because Seiryuu is finding a new favorability because of another card on this list, which is Aella, who is up to $35 a copy.
Yeah.
And at least with most of these that we're talking about, they are pretty generic cards, which can explain why they Aella can go into any deck that gets to an advanced element and win, right? Liminal Guy can just go into any deck. Is it good in every deck? No, but it can go into any deck.
Palvor Sword can go into anything that goes to level 1.
Yeah.
Which is most of them.
3 visits goes into basically every single win deck, just period. I don't know if there's a win deck that doesn't really run it because it's just universally good. I guess if you're not a cleric or mage,
win Luxem.
yeah, you have to be a cleric or mage. So
Yeah, it's great in Razor Gale, which is on the rise because it has been doing so well on the routes. That's really the
Topsy Decree, $50, right? But Regal Inquisition, $40. But even cards that are deck dependent, Sadie is one of the old bells that we've been ringing for a while. She only goes into Shadow Strike Tristan. A lot of Wind Luxem Xander decks don't run Sadie. She's still $50, which I guess, yay, she's down from 70, but still. Zhengzhou, which is basically only in Water Fractals, is $30 a copy right now.
Yeah.
Which is just a lot. That's a fucking lot.
Well, and so I guess that my question to this is, what do you think is an answer? Because from what I see, it sounds like they handle their own printing in-house, and that is what keeps the quality high, but also keeps the supply low.
Well, what we have been told is that printing is not the problem.
Sure.
They could print more.
Sure.
Packing and shipping is the problem. That's the actual bottleneck, is the logistics of getting the product into freight and into stores.
Sure.
Okay. And so that, at least that is our understanding. I don't know where that information directly comes from, but there are people that I trust very, very much that have said that is the problem, is that even if they wanted to print more, the problem is they couldn't actually pack it and ship it out.
Okay.
However, this is also a weird second window, unless you just want a receipt.
I don't need a receipt.
Okay. There's this also interesting disconnect, because one of the things that I see when I look at this is I see that there is an issue with market meeting demand. Hang on a second, we're gonna have them pass us food and stuff.
Hi, thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's football flavored.
It's more that it's got the sippy cup. That's weird.
Yeah, you want a sippy cup?
I guess I didn't really get the option to ask, so I guess so.
I guess they've just permanently switched to those because there's I guess you just put the straw through the sippy cup entrance if you want to. Anyway. So from my perspective, that is the market unable to meet the demand.
Sure.
Okay. Now, shout out to Garrett, fellow member of Grand Archive, friend of ours from across the pond. Happy to see you at Vegas. It was really cool to actually get to meet you in person. Me and him had a dialogue today about whether that's true or not, because I made the statement that Grand Archive is growing faster than the market can support. he doesn't think that that is correct because we're just not seeing that in terms of player base.
Sure, that would make sense.
And thankfully, the best, and I'll agree with Garrett that the best measure we have for the current player base is at the end of each season, Weebs of the Shore will share how many players reached what rank.
Sure.
So bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and top 100, right?
Got it.
And so around in the last year and a half, when we started, the active set season was Mortal Ambition. Like very shortly afterwards, it went into Abyssal Heaven. And then the time then we've had Distorted Reflections and Phantom Monarchs, and we are currently in Radiant Origin season. So when we started, at the end of Mortal Ambition, there was 3,841 players that were listed as having a ranking. I don't know if you create a brand new Omnidex account, if you're just automatically given bronze, or if you have to do something to get to bronze. Didn't have the time to check. This all happened today. They didn't share the numbers for Abyssal Heaven, but between Mortal Ambition and Distorted Reflections, we went from 3,800 to 4,700 players.
Okay.
So increase of 900 players-ish. Sure. And then from, unfortunately, a very sad increase, Distorted Reflections to Phantom Monarchs was only about 300 more players, just a little over 5,000 players.
Sure.
So I understand that that is not a huge amount of growth in terms of those numbers being shared. But the problem that I have with that is that we're still seeing product get sold out.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder how much of that is stemming from people like, especially you, but also a bit like me, who were building a bunch of decks for the meta to make available to people. And in your case, you're trying to keep, a master set of everything. So I wonder how much of it stems from players. I believe I saw a post earlier from somebody that said willing to buy 20 of a few staples.
That's me.
I know it was.
Okay.
And,
I was like, I don't know if you realize that was me.
Oh, I'm well aware. And the point more is, that means that just between you and I, let's just say Frostworn Paladin. I know that was one of the cards.
Yeah.
Just between you and I, we're looking at currently probably having 25 each, like 25 total between us, plus another like 20 that you're trying to get. So, I mean, between the two of us, that's 50 Frostworn Paladins out of the market.
Sure.
I could see that being a factor.
Well, and I think that's a little bit of a unique circumstance because of the cards on that list, we don't have that many.
That's true.
We have 4 to 8, maybe 12.
True.
Of most of what's on that list. Like, I'm trying to think. We have 6 Angelic Channelings, 9 Cheshire Cats, I think like 4 or 5 Carters total.
Do you own any?
1 or 2.
Okay, so then yeah, it's 4 or 5.
Yeah. I think. Do you own any 3 visits, or is it just the 4 that I have?
You wound up with the ones.
Okay, so we only have 4. Okay. I think we have 2 Palvor sorts.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, cool. I think we're up to 6 Auspicious manifestations. I think 4 or 5 liminal guides. I don't even know how many Topsy decrees. 3, maybe. Maybe 5.
I know I have 3. I know I have a minimum of 3.
7 Sadies, like 6 Regal Inquisitions, 8 Zhang Zhaos, 3 Aellas, 4 I think we have 8 Academy Guides, like 5 Snow Whites, 4 Backup Chargers, 3 Center of Restful Pieces, maybe like a dozen 3 of Hearts, and maybe like 10 Fluffy Shopkeeps.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Like, we don't have actually much more than what it takes for me, you, and Gandalf to be able to play any deck. Like,
sure.
And even then, if we all wanted to play the same deck, depending on what that deck is, we don't actually have enough cards.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up avoiding that in the end.
We'll have to.
I mean, if we'd all played Fire Dow Jam, we could have done it.
You don't want to do that. You do not like that deck as much as I do. But here's the thing. Is that in order, like, with the exception of Palvor Sword, all of those cards are technically for sale. But when the price follows demand, demand goes up, price goes up, regardless of what supply does.
Sure.
Because if supply meets demand, it'll just keep on staying where it's at.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, demand plateaus because you've reached a price that people are no longer willing to pay.
Yeah.
So that's why you will see so many of certain cards available for sale, because it has now reached a price that people are not willing to pay.
Yeah, I've been chasing after a CSR, and I keep seeing 2 on TCG Player for $6.50, and I'm not paying that.
Well, I think with CSRs, it's a little different, because those are collector items, right?
Oh, of course. But I also didn't want to pay $75 for Sadie's.
Yeah, mood.
Which I think that, I don't even remember how much we ended up getting them for. I know we pulled a couple, but I mean, it was getting a deal, I think, for just about all the ones that we ended up getting.
Yeah, and she's been at that price since we started. But the other, like, and this is a more personal issue, is that these prices also make it really hard to get new players into the game. Like, at least when it comes to our local scene, the majority of our local scene is supported because me and Vongod supply all of the cards and all of the decks. Because trying to get people to invest in a new TCG in general is difficult. And then, like, we had one new player that doesn't come around anymore who was really interested in Tristan and was like, hey, I really like this, because they had bought in the Recollection Light deck. And they're like, this is really cool. Is it any good, like, competitively? And I was like, yeah, it won Worlds in 2025. And they're like, oh, that's cool. What do I need to do that? And I was like, spend $300 on Sadie's, because she was $75 at the time. And they're like, oh, I don't really want to do that. They were down to spend like the $20 on, well, it was $40 on like a Grand Crusader ring and stuff. Because they're like, well, because again, one-time purchase for the one Grand Crusader ring. And I think if a playset of Sadie's was $80 to $100, they would have probably been like, I can start swinging that. I'll buy one here and there, you know. But when they're like 75 each, I can't do that.
Well, yeah, because they could have gotten Dungeon Guides and they would have been fine. Because Dungeon Guide is also in that deck, was running in the realm of about $20 a pop. So they would have paid $80 for a playset. That would have been within reason. If depending on the situation, we would have supplied that.
Yeah.
The problem is that you can't with Sadie because it's so much.
Well, and there's just a lack of willingness too. And that is not a unique circumstance. Like, a lot of people, like Cheshire Cat's cool, and a whole lot of decks are running Cheshire Cat right now, and nobody wants to pay $90. Just because there's people that are sometimes willing to, does not mean that that's actually a good price for it, right? And we do so for the sake of, one, being able to compete. Like, there was Cheshire Cats being played at NA Nationals and stuff like that. So we wanted to be able to play those cards and play at a premier level, but that is unique to us, and unique to us being able to actually afford that financially, that we can go and do those things.
And admittedly, both you and I make a fairly solid wage, which is very lucky, unlike many people who are trying to get into a TCG, especially because one of the groups that you tend to get, at least from my history, was, you would get teenagers. Teenagers would always be picking up cards, collecting, trading, and then you'd play it for, I don't know, call it 10 years as a number. But that is a lot harder when you have to explain to a teenager that, hey, that Tristan deck you like, you're looking at a minimum of $400 to upgrade it to what is the top tier version of the deck. Granted, you don't always need top tier, but it always then feels like you're playing an anemic version if you aren't.
You know you are.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You know that you're playing a weaker build.
Yeah.
And some people are okay with that, and a lot of people are not. And there's not a lot of alternatives to a lot of these staples that exist in Grand Archive. There's no card that does what Sadie does. There's no card that does what Cheshire does, right? Some decks are wholly reliant on Cheshire. Like, that's a huge part of how Ranger Strides combo works, is that you're using Cheshire as an extra copy of Ranger Strides. Regardless of whether that should be banned or not, that's just reality, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it even worse is we are seeing lower, like, what I would consider like more entry-level playables, 3 of Hearts, fluffy Shopkeep and stuff like that, climb. Which, you can be like, you could say like, okay, well, we're just playing locals, don't worry about Cheshire Cat, proxy it or whatever. And like, for the most part, a lot of people do play proxies at locals, and that's perfectly fine. I have no issue with it at all. But some people don't like playing proxies, or they're like, well, I kind of start to like to make this real so that I have a real deck that's mine.
Yeah, I technically don't have Genbu complete. I need one more card to make it a quote-unquote real deck.
And it's one thing if it's like, well, you can build this deck reasonably, but you're just missing a playset of the expensive card. But when it goes, well, and a playset of these, and a playset of these. Oh, and this? You can't even buy it. Like,
yeah, that's hard, especially because, you know, for example, what I'm thinking of is the Wind Luxem deck that's been going around. You are seeing decks that require dungeon guides already, which, you know, that one might not
much
be
more accessible, which is
yeah,
great.
but it does run Palvor Sword, whether or not it runs Looking Glass. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you play the...
Oh, I was like, fucking how? Yeah, I got it.
So you need a Palvor Sword in
Sabella
most
can probably
builds.
grab it too, right?
Yeah, Sabella can also grab it. It also runs a minimum of 2 Aellas, usually more. So you're looking at Palvor plus upwards of 4 Aellas, which is going to be a heavy cost. And I don't even know, do you know what Ghosts of Pendragon is kind of metered out to at this point?
10, 15.
Okay,
Not
so
too
that
bad.
one's actually reasonable then, because a lot of the other cards have been a little bit more reasonable. But if one was to have been playing, let's say, Fire in Soul of Lorraine, and now they're trying to swap over to Wind, there is a not small cost to do that swap. Like, that is a minimum of, let's call it, I'd say in the ballpark of $200, because you have to get at least 2 to 3 Aellas. I'm going to say 3 for my number, and then Palvor Sword, which we don't have an exact number on, but I think I bought mine for like 70.
Ugh.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah. But unfortunately, we needed one.
Yeah, no, I understand, but ugh.
Yeah.
Well, and like, here's the thing is, how do you solve this, right? Because regardless of whether it's from the market being unable to support demand, whether that's due to growth or collectors or, you know, speculators or whatever, the reality is that the price is too high on a lot of playables. And I mean, even playables that are $5, that's not bad until your deck needs 10 of them, like 10 different sets of playables that are all $5 each. Like, let's not ignore that, like, okay, cool, Calming Breeze is like $7 a piece. Okay, well, you need to play a set of those. There's $30. And then it's like, all right, well, then what else do you need? It just keeps adding on. And that's how a deck makes its way to being a $700 to $1,000 deck. And that's a problem. How do you solve that? Well, you introduce more cards, right? Well, the problem is some sealed product you just can't really get anymore. Like, last time I checked, there was like 3 boxes of Distorted Reflections on TCG Player, and they were like $200 each. And like, as people that open sealed product, that's not in our, like, the effective value there is awful. Like, you're doing that just to lose money unless you hit like a Diana CSR.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that the immediate one that comes to my mind that what I feel was an effective way of doing this was Fracturize. Because now it's been showing up in the, what do you call those? The packs that they give you when you just go to a store. Yeah, an event pack. I admit, I think that was a very smart idea. It dropped the price to be pretty reasonable, and you can pull those it is possible to pull those semi-regularly, and it costed you the entry to the game. It didn't cost you anything online, didn't have to set up shipping. If we could see a little bit more of something like that, I could see also what they did with the Mordred deck, where they added in playables into the starter deck. That was fantastic.
That made a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely.
That was probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, if we could get, I don't know, that a few more times just with some known playables, that would be amazing. I mean, just putting Sadie into any sealed product at this point would be worth it. But that's just one example. I think those are kind of the 2 ways that they've addressed it now. But obviously, that list is growing faster than they're shringing the numbers, which is the problem.
You mentioned 2 cards.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also put Dream Fairy on there.
Yeah.
I saw it in the camera that the microphone was about. Never done here. We'll leave that on. Never mind.
The mic stays on.
Anyway. Yeah.
Are there others that you can think of that, like, other ways that Weaves could address that?
I mean, yes. I mean, there's no way to address it quickly, is
Sure.
the thing, right? You can't just be like, oh shit, Fluffy Shopkeep is $20 and fix it next month, right? That's not feasible.
No.
That's not how production works. That's not how logistics works. That's not how the market works. That won't work. But I do think part of the problem is that there is a very finite feeling amount of sealed product, and the draw towards sealed product is very limiting. Like, one of the major discussion points is altar sets. Altar sets are, for all intents and purposes, bad. Like, you get a handful of new exclusives that everyone wants that are impossible to get. So, like, when A&B Altar dropped, I was like, hey, can I just buy a playset of the Altar exclusives? And somebody was like, yeah, for $500. I was like, that's a lot for a bunch of unplayable cards. Like, I wanted them for just the master set, right? And currently we've seen, what, one truly played one in Torching Reach and like 2 half-played ones in Restoring Embers, and there's another one.
Those are the speculative ones, like the steed that gives a polearm for Jin, and the other one where you can discard polearm attacks. I think those, I could understand somebody picking those up and holding on to those as a spec. But I agree that it's getting bought more than the packs are being opened, and people aren't going, I better open a box of A&B Altar to try and pull any of these.
Well, and here's the thing is that, like, with A&B, what do you, like, the box is the same price as first edition. There is a 1 in 30 box rate for CSR, so you have a like half the rate. Instead of 1 in 15, it's 1 in 30. The CSRs are fewer in number, and unless you pull an Everflame staff, it's not going to be nearly as good. Although the 2 allies are doing actually pretty well. Bairu is starting to go down a little bit. Not as much can be said for like MRC Altar, where most of those CSRs are not banging.
Yeah.
It feels worse to open in all ways, and there's just not a huge incentive to open it. And like, one of the things I thought of today, I was like, man, if altar sets were cheaper MSRP than First Ed, I would probably buy them more often, because that's the thing, right? I like opening packs. I think most of us do.
Sure.
But once you've gotten past a certain price point on sealed product, it's just not worth the gamble anymore. And like $180 boxes of Distorted Reflections are not worth the gamble. Like, I don't mind taking a loss for the sake of like having fun and getting some more playables and stuff that I can like turn over and stuff like that, right? Like, that's fine. If I could get boxes of Distorted Reflections for like 120, I'd probably still grab one here and there on occasion. Like, would I like to get them for like the $80 you can get them for at launch? Hell yeah, but that's just not, well, I think it's 105 is what they are at launch. Regardless, that'd be sick. But 180, I'm like, well, if you don't hit a Cheshire Cat, a CSR, or a Liminal Guide.
Looking Glass was up there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Looking Glass was up there.
So you have 2 URs and a super rare. I guess Regal Inquisition's like $40. So
Sure.
If you don't hit 1 of 4 cards, the box is worth $10.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I mean, we will go in and buy packs to support our locals pretty much every time we show up. But
buy a few packs every time we go in.
Yeah, we try our best to at least incentivize them to keep having stock on hand. And if anything, if we get any newer players, we can just hand over whatever we aren't after over to them. But we have been running into the problem of what set are we going to buy? Because it's getting to the point where we aren't really in need of the cards, but we are looking at it more in case of value. And the trouble is finding the right value, because it seems like that has been an uphill battle at this point, especially since, as with many other places, as you mentioned prior, DTR is gone, which that was one of your higher end value sets. And I think that's part of the reason you're seeing it go away, is because you could pull some pretty expensive cards. And which one was Fluffy from again? Is that
DTR?
Also? Yeah, so that also is another pull. So I mean, it keeps stacking up.
So it's 3 of Hearts.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. But, like, all of that, I think, is a factor. And on top of that, I think that could also be part of the reason you're seeing these spikes in price, is that it's harder to get the packs to keep more coming. So somebody saw, oh, nobody's selling the packs, it's harder to get packs, and probably did a buyout, would be my belief.
I can see that, yeah. I was seeing if there was anything else on there.
Snow White? Was that
Snow White, yeah. Snow White's DTR. She's $25 now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of cards already that we've named in comparison to how many big hits are in, let's say,
Phantom Monarchs.
sure, I was going to say heaven, but yeah.
No, Phantom Monarchs, you have Palvor Sword, Liminal Guy's DTR. Palvor Sword, Topsy Decree, and I guess like Vorpal Blade, which is another one that's $40, even though it's just not played hardly anywhere. But for the most part, it's if you don't hit Palvor Sword or Topsy Decree, that's a dead box. Like you have spent $150 on $20. Congratulations. Like,
which I will say, in most cases, I think that's actually kind of sweet. I like, and you know, not necessarily losing value on opening a box, but I like how there are a lot of cards that are accessible. They are affordable in this.
bad though.
I know, yeah, but you can still build decks with some subpar cards. Not every card in a deck has to be $5.
No, but let's not pretend like Ponytail Merlin or Umbra Alice are decks.
That's fair.
Hey, I say this, having Argus Alice in the backpack,
Yeah.
like, it works better than most of the Umbra Alice decks, but it's still trash. Like, goddamn is Umbra Alice and Ponytail Merlin just not it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Ponytail Merlin is a card that you would see doing better in, like, Pantheon, because it just does better with that longer term build-up. Alice, I don't know what you do to solve that. I really don't. Like that, especially because they made it an inherited effect, so you can't go to any level 3 Alice to get out of it. It's still sticking around, which is a problem.
Well, Blight's Ring, if it didn't hurt you, would work. Like, here's a guaranteed way to get a curse, but if there's a way to get Blight's Ring without, like, nailing yourself for 8...
Ugh. Well, and, I mean, the way that I tend to think about damage is 7. 7. The amount of like damage and turns that are happening in a game is one of the decks that we really started with was Fiza. So I tend to think in terms of like, how quickly is Fiza going to kill you if you hurt yourself for this much? And at 7, your opponent is thanking you.
Yeah.
They really are.
Did my job for me.
Yeah, I mean, as the old... anybody who's played Magic before, playing Modern, when you go fetch, shock, Thoughtseize, and they reveal a bunch of burn cards, and you just go, game 2.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
I made your job so much easier.
Yeah, I took 5. I'm now at 15. Your hand already counts to 15. That sucks. But it feels like that's what happens with Alice. And I mean, there's times where Alice could make it where, because my primary deck right now is Genbu. You don't have to pump the toughness on Genbu. You could just swing for the 9 off of the Resonating Fugue and you might just kill them because their life total is so low. And while we have seen some popularity of a deck that's doing nothing but healing itself in Jin still has other win cons that it's doing, whereas Alice is trying to stem the bleeding. And because if it ever hits that magic spot, it's just dead, whereas Jin can go...
That is why I still like an Argus Alice deck, because it's like play Argus and a Doppelganger and start cracking them for 9 a turn. Like,
yeah. No, that's a sweet deck. I like the idea of it.
Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know what the solution is, obviously, and like I would like to think that 3 of Hearts in Supporter Pack 4 is going to help the price of 3 of Hearts, but it's super rare, so I don't know if it will, because super rares are in supporter packs stay pretty pricey, and it's a playable one. I mean, like Fairy Whispers is still a $20 super rare out of supporter pack 2.
Yeah.
Like Cremation Ritual is like a $30 non-foil super rare out of supporter pack 2.
Yeah.
Like, bruh.
Absolutely. But if anybody else has any other ideas on how they could deal with this, please put them in the comments.
Like, here's the problem, is that in our current market, the immediate solutions that I think of, I don't think will solve the problem. Because, like, you could put a 1 of Sadie into... It wouldn't work, but, like, let's... None of the upcoming champions are assassins, unless it's an assassin Neos, which that would be weird. But anyway, if you had...
Super Ninja.
Oh, yeah. If you had... we'll take Ghost of Pendragon before it was cheaper, since this, because no, that doesn't work. Whatever, I'm overcomplicating this. If you put a 1 of Sadie into a starter deck, that would immediately make like 8,000 more Sadies immediately available to the market, right?
Sure.
It can't go into the existing starter decks, and none of them are assassins.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you do that, you then run the risk of people buying up all the starter decks to rip them to sell the Sadie out of them.
Well, then wouldn't the event packs be an answer that could help with that then? Because you just go by season, and then with your event packs, because you can't buy those technically. Like, it's
Not supposed to.
I know. You're not supposed to, so in most cases, the way that you get them is by playing. And yeah, you're still ripping a pack, it's not guaranteed, but you do put a lot more into the market then, and nobody had to pay money to get into it. So that does seem like a clean answer in a lot of cases.
One, we've never seen them put an ultra rare into an event pack still.
Sure.
Or into a supporter pack. So, like for Cheshire and like, I don't know how they'll classify angelic channeling because, like, oh, it's technically a super rare, even though the card's full art and says ultra rare at the bottom, but it's technically a super rare. I don't know what that means to them in terms of how they perceive it as a printing. But like angelic channeling needs to be printed more in something else. That could probably go into the starter decks. That'd be fine. Put one or two of them, but at least one, maybe two. It's a complicated card though, and it's not a good starter deck card.
No, but you can put it in a recollection.
Sure.
Like recollection is supposed to be the more complicated version. It's supposed to be a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know, and especially because the other problem is that there's not ways to answer things quickly, because like we'll take larger games like Magic or Pokemon or One Piece or whatever, right? I saw people today talking about flavor of the month decks, but the problem is flavor of the month decks in Grand Archive they're not flavor of the months. They're a new flavor that is now just in the case for you to pick at any point in time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, let's just look at the two backpacks behind us.
We have 30 fucking meta decks in the car right now. They're all playable. You could do well with any of them if you do well enough. Well, that's a stupid statement, but
the deck would be taken to a tournament and do well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like, oh, well, this card's only doing, like, Aella is only $35 because Crux Lorraine is the flavor of the month. And it's like, but she's not going anywhere.
Well, it's also going into Seiryuu, too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a staple in most wind decks going forward. If they go to level 3 and they're wind, it is very likely that card will be played, except for maybe Tristan.
And the thing is that, do you know how much Carpsong Coda is? Have you seen the price of Carpsong Coda?
Why would I look up the price of Carpsong Coda? Do you know what the cost of Lost in Thought is?
I get falling in pretty close to a guess, but
probably. But you know what I don't know is the cost of Lost in Thought or Carpsong Coda.
It's $4.
Somebody's just holding out for hope.
I don't know. And don't tell me it's for Pantheon.
The only other thing I could think of for that is how many people are posting like, oh, I had 5. I now just want to get rid of them. Let me just post them.
But why aren't you posting them? Like, one, they're not. Well, who's buying them? Who's buying this? Sorry, but also it's like it's a banned card. Yes, you can play it in Pantheon. I can't imagine there's that much of a market for it in Pantheon because it's 6 damage at best to a single target. There's way better cards you should be running in Pantheon than fucking Carpsong Coda. But regardless of that, that's part of like the problem with price memory, because like even if we had flavor of the month decks, people would go, that deck's cool, buy out the playables in it, the playables spike in price, and then they will never go back down.
Yeah.
Like they will not.
Yeah, Seiryuu has been a deck that we have constantly had struggles with because it just ends up fluctuating in cost so much.
And normally going up.
Yeah, it's almost always going up, but it is a deck that just...
Seiryuu's command was like $10, $12, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It is now like $30 to $40 a card, depending on, the time of the week, which...
And some of the builds run angelic channeling.
Yeah.
Like that, it hurts. It's an expensive deck.
I don't know what the answer is. And like, it's not like the market corrects itself. It doesn't. So this is just a problem that is going to keep getting larger. And outside of everything we've said today, I don't have any other thoughts or feelings or anything that I can really contribute to it beyond going, hi.
No, but in some ways, by making this video, you are speaking about it so that it can potentially be heard. That's the point.
I hope.
You want it so that they can, they can, in this case, Weaves, can potentially hear some feedback and go, well, you know what? This is what we're hearing from people. We are working on an answer of some kind, potentially.
And, last thoughts before we go into locals.
Yeah.
Which is that we have Asphodel Paradise coming up.
Yeah.
And one of the things I remember Weebs talking about when Cheshire Cat started to go up was there was a statement, this is not verbatim, this is not a direct quote, but it was akin to, between cards like Carter and Cheshire, we have learned a lesson and we will try to not print ultra rares that are widely playable so that they don't do what Carter and Cheshire have done.
Which is why they tried to sell Angelic Channeling as a UR at SR rarity.
Maybe I see.
It seems like that would be what was going on.
It could be, but I also have to feel like I feel what there is such a massive lead time in production of products.
Oh,
there's
sure.
a very real chance that Radiant Origins was largely already done.
That would make sense.
You know, and so I feel like with the lead time, because Disorder Reflection was about a year ago, and so we will see with Asphodel Paradise as the first view of what do your ultra rares look like, because I mean, it's not even exclusive to ultra rares. I mean, some of the cards that we mentioned are $85 super rares, so like,
yeah,
like $40 to $85 super rares, depending on whether we're talking about Regal Inquisition, Topsy Decree, or Liminal Guide. Like, that's still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultra rares are even worse because they're even harder to hit. So, like, we'll see if that statement holds true, and we'll see what Asphodel Paradise looks like. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go into locals. It's almost time, so we're gonna bounce in there. Thanks everyone for watching. We will be back probably next week. I hope. Anyway, should be. At least me and Vongod will be.
Yeah. No travel for me this time, so
thank God.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm sure you're done with it too.
Very much.
So everyone, we're gonna go in, enjoy locals. We hope to see you and talk to you later. Please remember to play like a G6. This is Team Glim 6, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.